The Adnan Syed case is one of the most infamous and controversial cases out there. It involves the 1999 murder of Hae Min Lee, a high school student in Baltimore, Maryland. Adnan Syed, Lee's ex-boyfriend, was convicted of a murder and sentenced to life in prison in 2000. The case gained widespread attention in 2014 after it was featured in the popular podcast Serial, which raised questions about Syed's guilt and the fairness of his trial. In today's video, let's take a closer look into the case against Adnan Syed. Adnan Syed and Hae Min Lee were high school students in Baltimore County, Maryland in the late 1990s. They attended Woodlawn High School, where they became friends and soon after began dating. Hae Min Lee was born on October 15, 1980 in South Korea. She moved to the United States with a family when she was still very young, and they settled in Maryland. Adnan was born on the 21st of May 1980 in Baltimore, Maryland. His family was originally from Pakistan and had later immigrated to the United States. Adnan and Hae Min Lee began dating in the spring of 1999 during their senior year at Woodlawn High School. Their relationship lasted for several months before they broke up. After Hae Min Lee broke up with Adnan, she began dating a guy named Don Clendenst. Don was her co-worker at the Lens Crafters store in Owings Mills, Maryland, where Hae worked part-time. They had been dating for only a couple of weeks at the time before her disappearance and murder. Don was investigated by the police during the initial investigations, but he was ultimately ruled out as a suspect and was not implicated in any way in Hae's death. On January 13, 1999, Hae Min Lee went missing. Her body was found in a park a few weeks later, and it was later confirmed that the cause of her death was due to strangulation. Adnan Syed was arrested, ultimately convicted of a murder in 2000, largely based on the testimony of a friend, Jay Wiles, who said that Adnan had confessed to him about killing Hae Min Lee. But who exactly is Jay Wiles? Jay Wiles was a friend of Adnan Syed and a key witness in the murder trial of Hae Min Lee. He was also the boyfriend of Stephanie McPherson, a close friend of Adnan. Wiles testified that he met Adnan at the parking lot of Best Buy, where he told him that he had killed Hae and had asked for his help in burying her body. Wiles' first taped interview with the police occurred on February 28, 1999. This is the same day Adnan was arrested. According to Wiles, Adnan showed him Hae's body in the trunk of her car and then drove the two of them to a secluded location where they buried her body. Wiles also testified that Adnan had planned the murder in advance and had even shown him the location where he intended to kill Hae. Now, according to Syed himself, the day Hae Min Lee had disappeared, Adnan was busy with his photography and English classes and then called his friend Jay Wiles, offering to lend him his car during lunch period, as Jay wanted to get his girlfriend Stephanie, also friends with Adnan, a present for her birthday. Wiles then dropped Syed back off at school, where he had free period, and then also arrived late to a psychology class, which started at 12:50 p.m., but he entered at 1:27 p.m., as his teacher notes. After class, he goes to Woodlawn Public Library to check his email and ends up talking to his friend Asia McLean in the library. He then goes to track practice. Wiles picks him up there, and the two go to a friend's house. It's while he's there that Officer Scott Adcock calls Syed, asking if he knew where Lee was. Adnan told the officer that he was supposed to get a ride home from her, but he got detained at school and felt that she must have gotten tired of waiting and left. Syed then went to pick up food on his way to meet his dad at the mosque for evening prayers. During the trial, Wiles' testimony was also subject to controversy and criticism, as he gave inconsistent statements to police and had a criminal record at the time. In his testimony at the second trial, the first being a mistrial, he says that he and Syed drove to Security Square Mall and claims Syed reportedly told him he was going to kill Lee. That afternoon, he says that Syed asked him to pick him up at Best Buy, where Syed shows him Lee's body in the trunk of her car. That night they bury Lee's body in Leakin Park and leave her car in a residential parking lot. Now where Adnan was arrested and later charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping and robbery, and was sentenced to life in prison, Jay, on the other hand, was given a plea deal and received no jail time. Wiles has largely remained out of public eye since the trial, and his exact involvement in the case and the reliability of his testimony continues to be a topic of debate among those who have followed the case. Now, from 2000 to 2014, Adnan tried to appeal his conviction multiple times, but unfortunately was denied each time. However, on October the 3rd, 2014, the first season of podcast Serial begins airing. The podcast re-examines the case and raises question about Syed's guilt. The podcast was hosted by journalist Sarah Cohen. A month later, on the 6th of November 2014, a Maryland court agreed to consider new evidence in the case, including an affidavit from Asia McLean, the friend who Adnan interacted at the library during the time of Lee's murder. A few months later, on the 3rd of February 2015, Maryland's Court of Special Appeals granted Adnan the right to file for an appeal to be heard by a panel of 3 judges in June of that year. The basis for the appeal was that Adnan Syed's defense attorney, Christina Gutierrez, provided ineffective counsel by neglecting to use a witness who served as a possible alibi. The witness, Asia McLean, later wrote to Syed in the aftermath of the crime, saying that she saw him in the public library at the time of Hae's death and was willing to testify in his defense. But Gutierrez did not contact her. On the 29th of March 2016, a Maryland judge vacated Adnan's conviction and granted him a new trial. Unfortunately for Adnan, on the 8th of March 2019, Maryland's highest court, the Court of Appeals, reinstated Adnan's conviction, overturning the lower court's decision to grant him a new trial. The court said that Syed's defense team had failed to raise a valid claim of ineffective assistance of counsel. In August of the same year, Adnan's lawyers asked the Supreme Court to look into the case, but were rejected again on the 25th of November 2019.
After 23 years behind bars, Adnan Syed walked out of prison yesterday. A Maryland judge vacated his conviction for the murder of his high school girlfriend, Hae Min Lee. The judge giving prosecutors 30 days to proceed with a new trial or drop the case.
We're not yet declaring Adnan Syed is innocent, but we are declaring that in the interest of fairness and justice, he is entitled to a new trial.
Syed was 17 when he was convicted and then sentenced to life for strangling Lee and burying her in a Baltimore park in 1999. All along, he maintained his innocence. In 2014, the podcast Serial became a phenomenon, presenting new evidence and questioning whether Syed got a fair trial. But it wasn't until this month that prosecutors recommended Syed's conviction be vacated, saying the state no longer has confidence in the integrity of the conviction. Adding, an investigation found trial prosecutors did not properly turn over evidence and uncover the potential involvement of two alternative suspects. Lee's family responding, her brother getting emotional, saying, "I always thought the state was on my side, but out of nowhere I hear that there's a motion to vacate judgment. I felt betrayed."
This family is interested in the pursuit of justice. They want to know more than anybody who it was that killed Hae Min Lee.
For now, Syed is on home detention.
Finally, on the 19th of September 2022, Baltimore City Circuit Court Judge Melissa M. Finn vacated Syed's conviction, effectively setting him free. After being in prison for 23 long years, Adnan was finally out and free. Finn's decision came after prosecutors told the court that they had lost faith in Syed's conviction in light of new evidence and violations in the government's turning over evidence. On the 11th of October 2022, prosecutors dropped all charges against Adnan. 2 months later, he was also able to get a full-time job as a program associate for Georgetown University's Prison and Justice Initiative. One of his roles is providing support for an undergraduate class called Making an Exoneree, in which students seek to help free innocent people in prison by examining their cases and creating documentaries. As of now, just last month, on the 28th of March 2023, Adnan Syed's conviction was reinstated after a Maryland appellate court panel cited that the lower court violated the right of Lee's family to attend the September 2022 hearing. For now, Adnan Syed remains free and out of prison. For how long that is anyone's guess. Well, folks, that was the end of the case file. Hope you did find the video interesting. If you've made it this far, I would genuinely appreciate it if you would give this video a like, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, as it would really help me. Also, do let me know, what do you make of this case? Do you believe that Adnan is innocent, or that he actually committed the crime? Until next time, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and please be safe. Peace.